Hello boys and girls, welcome to Mrs. Bandu's Math Movies. This is Course 2, Lesson 7-7, Circle Graphs. Our objectives are to analyze and construct circle graphs. Okay, so first of all, a circle graph is a graph of data in which a circle represents the whole and each sector represents a part. Okay, a sector is like the pie slice, in case you're wondering. Circle graphs are also sometimes called pie graphs, if you haven't heard, or pie charts. Okay. All right, first of all, you will, in this section, need a protractor, okay, and you're going to want a calculator as well. So this might be a good time to pause and go get one if you want to. Otherwise, just work with. Okay, analyzing a circle graph. The November weather, there's 30 days in November, so they've done that. Your key right here shows you some different colors for the different types of weather, and on the graph there are percentages. To find out, use the circle graph at the right to find out how many of the days were cloudy. So if I look, cloudy is the white, and that's 27%. So 27% of 30 days is equal to 0.27 times 30, which is 8.1. So I would say that about 8 days were cloudy. It's very straightforward when you have the information given to you in this aspect. The little more complicated one is example number 2. We're going to construct a circle graph using the information in the table. So first off, we have size of U.S. households in 2000, the number of people, and the number in thousands. Okay? The first thing we want to do, first of all, our percents are not given to us, so we're going to need to figure that out. First thing we're going to have to do is add to find the total number of households. And when you add these up, you should get 104,705 thousands, by the way. Okay. That's the easy part. The next part isn't that hard either. It's just a little more complicated. Okay, one of them you can use proportions, so we're going to set them up that way. You could also just divide the part by the whole and then multiply by 360, which is basically what we're doing here anyway. I'm going to go with the setup that we have here. Notice it does ask us to round to the nearest tenth. Okay, I'm also going to go back here and notice that these are A, B, C, D, and F. Okay, so I'm going to just go back up here, A, B, C, D, F, all right, so that I kind of can keep track of what I've already done or what I'm using. So the first one I'll start with 26,724, which is just my first number in the chart here, by the way. Okay, so I'm going to take 26,724 times 360 divided by 104,705. Okay, this gives me about, when I round, 91.9 degrees. All right. The next one, B is 34,666. Again, you can multiply that by 360 and divide by 104,705. Or you could take 34666 divided by 104,705 and then multiply by 360. Again, you have a couple of options there. To the nearest tenth, this is 119.2 degrees. What we're doing here is we are figuring out our degrees to find our angle measures, and I'm not sure that I mentioned that, so I'm going to backtrack just a bit there. Next one is 17,152. Times 360 divided by 104,705 is about 59.0 degrees when I round to the nearest tenth. Next one, 15,309 times 360 divided by 10475, rounded, gives me 52.6 degrees. Next one, and final, 10,854 times 360 divided by 10475, rounds to 37.3 degrees. Okay, just a little bit of FYI. First of all, if you've done this, your degrees should add back up to 360 degrees because there are 360 degrees in the circle. I will also tell you, though, that graphing by hand, we're not going to be able to graph to the nearest tenth. So generally, I graph to the nearest whole degree and go from there, just because that's more reasonable when you're doing it by hand. Certainly, if you were doing this in a program such as Excel, it's going to take care of that for you. You don't have to worry about that. Okay. Step 3 now is we're going to draw a circle, draw the central angles using measures found in step 2, label each section, include a title and a key. Okay, so it has, in fact, already done the circle for us and put the title on for us. So what we want to do is find the center of the circle as best we can. If you're using a compass, that's not so hard to do because you'll have a little dot in your paper, but it looks like the diameter on this is about 1.5, so I'm going to go 3/4 here, and 3/4 there. Whoops. What am I doing? Well, actually, if I measure 3/4 across this way, I'm sorry, got a little sidetracked there, this way. And then I want to measure 3/4 this way as well, in the vicinity. And what's going to happen is they're going to cross, and that should be really, really, really close to my center. Okay. Then I'm going to draw an initial radius just as a starting point. Because I'm right-handed, I think I tend to draw everything starting on the right and going back around. You can really do this in any order you want. And our angle A would be about 91.9 degrees, so I'm going to make that 92 degrees. I'm going to line up and read around. Remember, that's going to be slightly obtuse. And I'm just going to make a little mark on my paper. I prefer to mark by, but you see that I like to mark by these little degrees marks up here. It's off my paper, so I'm doing the best I can to get it as close as possible. Use that to line up, but I'm only going to make my line go through just a radius in the circle. I'm just using that as a line-up point. So this is, I'm going to write in very lightly, this is my A. Then I'm going to come back to it. And what I suggest doing then is go ahead and turn your paper, because it's much easier to do that than try to manipulate around. Your next angle is 119.2, so I'm going to go with 119. Remember, that's going to be obtuse. So here's 100, 110, here's 120. One less would be 119. Again, I'm just going to put a mark and use that as my line-up mark to a line. All right. And very lightly I'm penciling B, so I know that was B. Next one is 59 degrees. You hear my phone ringing in the background. Just ignore it. I will get it later. Okay. Next one is 59 degrees. So again, I'm reading, here's 50, 55, 59. So I'm going to make a little mark. And again, I'm doing all of those little marks rather lightly and small, so I can go back and erase them if I need to. That's C. D is about 53 degrees. So 50, 1, 2, 3, okay. and F is 37 degrees, hopefully. I'm going to see if I'm fairly close. And again, on these, I'm not going for total perfection because there's a lot of, so I have about a 36-degree angle left. I'm happy with that because I just want a nice visual representation. Because we're doing it by hand, certainly you're going to be off just a little bit. Okay, now it says size of U.S. household. A key might be, depending what you want to do, you might want to just color it in or whatever. I'm going to leave that to you to finish and do how you would like to do. But this is for the one member, 2 members, 3 members, 4 members, and 5 or more. So you need to, let's say I'm going to do this in blue. Okay, so I might make a little blue box here, shaded in with blue, and I would say 1-person household. Okay, and so on. Just pick different colors. All right, so the quick checks are here for you to do. I guess the only thing I want to mention to you, I'm going to get you started on number 2 because it's a little bit different. It's actually very much like example 1. We want to find the measure of the central angle that you would draw to represent blood type A. So what we would do for this one is we would take the percent of 360 because there are 360 degrees in a circle. So that would be 360 times 0.4, which would give me a 144-degree angle for blood type A. You'll need to continue doing that to finish off B, but that was just to get you started. So if you know the percent and you need to figure out the angle measure, remember you can multiply 360 by the angle percent. Okay. All right, have these ready for discussion. See you soon.